quick background on how I've always felt about like the whole student loan conversation. Honestly, I never understood the point of forgiving student loans. I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of was just like, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have gone and got this degree. Boop. Joke's on me. Like, I gotta figure it out. I gotta go make money and go pay this crap off. Like, I have to figure it out. It's my fault. And the thing is, I feel like the writing was on the wall the entire time I was pushing for a degree. Like, I got declined here, I got declined here. Like, it was just like, it was one of those moments where, if you ever read the Bible, in the book of Samuel, one of my favorite books in the Bible, it's like, God, we want a king. God's like, why? They're like, we want a king like everybody else. God's like, you got me. And they're like, we want a king. Fine. You got to pay taxes then. And it's like, okay. That was basically what happened with me in college. God, I want a degree. Why? I've given you gifts. God, I need a degree. That's how I'm going to make it in this world. Why? I've given you a personality to know how to network. What are you talking about? But God, I need a degree to survive in life. All right, bet. I'll walk with you through that, but just know there's consequences on the other side of this. Like a decayed sense of self, insurmountable student loan debt. It is surmountable. It's possible. Everything's possible. What? Senses of hopelessness and lostness and exhaustion and depression. There's a lot on this journey, Selena, you didn't think you were gonna have to pay for, but I'll be with you. You know, I got you. I love you. But this is the journey you chose. You know, this is the path you chose. Anyway, I feel like there was like everybody, I came across a lot of random obstacles when trying to pay for school. But I paid for school. I made it. I finally got my transcript. I still don't have that diploma, but I digress. I digress. I can't tell you why I don't have my diploma. I graduated during COVID. I still haven't received it. Wesleyan. I sent y'all an email recently. If you ever see this. Anyway, this phenomenal video this woman I just saw by this woman where she talks about how basically those loans are the same as the mortgage loans that came out in 2008. And she's like, here's the thing that's scary is when the mortgage loans collapse because they realized that what was backing those loans was trash. That if you've never seen the movie The Big Short, I don't care what your mathematical competency is, what your economic competency is, you should be able to understand The Big Short. They try to break it down that you do not need a degree to understand The Big Short when they explain to you what happened in 2008 and why we went through 4 years of trash. And like just trash. And then we went through like 12 years of economic expansion. Well, they don't really explain the economic expansion part, but the collapse is the most important thing. And so she makes the point that, hey, those loans were loans against houses. Houses. They're tangible items, right? Student loans are against us. Our knowledge, our brain. Like you walked out with a piece of paper that said you have the knowledge to do something. And so your brain and your knowledge, your labor as a person is the collateral. That is the collateral of that loan. When you don't pay your mortgage, they take the house from you eventually, right? When you don't pay your car note, they take the house from you. What is someone going to take from you if the collateral is you? Like that just blew my mind. I was like, hold up, wait, what? No, for what are you going to take from me? Me? And then she gave this example. She was like, it's your labor. They're going to take your labor. And she gives the analogy that, not even the analogy, the reality that people are working jobs they hate because they got degrees they were unclear about for jobs that they were also unclear about. But now they have student loan debt that's real clear for them that they have to pay back. And they can't do anything about it because now they have the handcuffs of, oh, I have a degree in tech and I can make $160K. And because I can make $160K, I have a $500 student loan payment every month. And I hate my job. And I'm older now. And she talks about how basically college has ruined our understanding of learning because now we think to learn any skill, we have to go to school. We have to pay someone to learn a skill. Now, granted, I kind of think you do have to pay for someone to learn a skill, but you do not need formalized education. I'm going to tell you my story learning as like an entrepreneur. My brain struggled to just like be willing to fail. And in listening to her video, I'm not going to give full credit to college because I also think that was like a confidence, self-esteem issue, whatever. But it's the experience of formalized education really does not prime your brain to accept failure. It cultivates this sense of timidity and like this consistent need for approval and grades, but it's like success in life does not take that. You do need results to be successful in life, but the most successful people I've met in their families, in their jobs, in their well, let's say their jobs, their careers, their trades, they tried a bunch of stuff and quote unquote failed freely. Like they had some downtimes freely. I talk to people who make over $600,000, have great relationships with their spouses and their kids, and they're like, yeah, there was a time that I was homeless and it sucked. Like I was living in my car. And in my brain's like, yo, how did you do that? And it's honestly, a lot of them just didn't go to college, and they kind of just had to like learn to like be okay with failure, be okay with developing. Alex Hormozi says it beautifully. Just be okay with being a student. And the thing that college tricks you into believing is that you stop being a student when you get out of school. So the next time you get to be a student is when you go back to school. So people keep thinking to learn something new, you have to be in school. You have to be in a course. Bro, life is a learning experience. And so back to what she said basically your labor. They're going to collect on your labor. You're going to work, you're going to be a slave to that degree, because you're going to pay it off some way, somehow, because like we can't bail anybody out. As we've seen, nobody's down to be bailing people out for a student loan. I wasn't even down to bail people out for a student loan. It was a mistake I made. At 17, I didn't know better. But then she makes this really good case that I agree with, but I don't think I ever thought as clearly about as she does. And I like it. Is that people really shouldn't be getting college degrees until they're age 25. And I agree with that, because your brain is not fully developed until you're age 25. Some of y'all later. Like some of y'all, and that's okay. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you think about it, making a decision to go $50, $100, whatever $1,000 in debt at 17 or 18 years old because you really want to go is stupid. It's stupid. It's misinformed, it's irresponsible, and it's stupid. Period. I remember being 17 years old and almost not going to college, and an older lady at my church told me, oh my gosh, Selena, if you don't go to college because you don't get to go to college that you want to, I will forever think you're an idiot. And the insecure 17-year-old in me fought to make sure that I could get to college some way, somehow, because subconsciously, I didn't want this lady to think I was stupid. She believed in me all up to this point, and now she's like, if you don't go to college because of this, you're dumb. Like, I was wrong, you were dumb. Kids crave approval. Like some kids, y'all got resistance. Some of y'all have resistance. You have a better sense of self. I didn't have that sense of self. I'll be honest, I didn't. But man, like it was just, in my opinion, it was a good point. College is not for a 17 or 18-year-old. And after finishing college, I knew that's, if there's one thing I realized, I was like, nah, I shouldn't have been here until I was at least 21 or 22. I didn't need to be here. This was cool and all, but I could have came here when I was older. Because as an older person, I would have been more clear cut on why I'm here and what I'm doing. Now, granted, I can use my degree to do anything I want. Whatever. I have an international politics and philosophy degree. I could do whatever I want. I know how to think, and I've known how, but the thing is, I didn't need a degree to teach me how to think. Anyway, I just thought that was really interesting. Key points, if you're really confused about what the heck I'm talking about. People shouldn't get degrees until people shouldn't start college until they're 25 years old and above, because their prefrontal cortex is more developed. I think that's a valid point. College becomes a scam because it boxes people into decisions that they made in their child years of adulthood. And they're boxed in because now they've taken on so much debt that they can't get out of it. They have to stick with it. You got to see it through, my guy. Like, it sucks. And lastly, get ready for another economic crash, because nobody can handle, like, our country has so much freaking student loan debt. We are one of the most educated countries on the planet, and most of our jobs don't even require degrees. And anybody remember that switch that people saw with Google in the pandemic, where they were like, we don't really require degrees, we require soft character skills, things that anybody can cultivate if they're willing to personally develop. I don't know, man. If you have any thoughts about this, feel free to comment below. I just wanted to share it because I thought, wow, this was a good point. I'm gonna go find the link to that video and I'm gonna drop it below. It was really good.